Amigos, welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of The Show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. Get ready to learn and to laugh along with us for the next 2 hours. Also, get ready for liftoff. Here
10,
we go.
9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
1,
You know the rest.
0.
Come on.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Let's get moving.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Yeah. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. And get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no. It's Show with No Name time on Vaughn Radio. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Get pumped. Get psyched. Get stoked. It means the same thing. It means get in the right mindset. And I know you are. Show with No Namers. That's for you. For your constant effort. For your drive. For your energy. Thank you so much for joining me every day here for our wacky English class. Sí, chiflado es. It's a wacky English class where you can learn, laugh, and have some fun with us. And don't forget, right before this show, you can start your day with my buddy, Rob Grams. That's right, Rob Grams, the host of the Pro Bow Show, where you'll hear the realest English out there. And that'll get you ready for a master class with Fitz in No Excuses. Yeah, Fitz doesn't want you to cop out. He doesn't want any cop-outs. Remember, we looked at that word yesterday. A cop-out is a bad excuse. A lame or weak, débil we say, excuse. Oh, come on, that's a cop-out. And remember, we looked at to cop a feel, meter mano. And obviously, you know the word cop. Now, dime esta frase. El policía con gorra bebió de una taza. The cop with a cap drank from a cup. Say it with me. The cop with a cap drank from a cup. I know it's tough. That's why we just looked at it. But we're always playing with words here on the show, laughing and learning as I challenge you using pop culture, history, and the world around us. So let's kick things off with today's Say What soundbite. Come on. Say what? Get up. All right, folks, it is your Say What soundbite here. We're going to hear a famous person speaking, and you guys have to analyze what you hear. Quite simply, sum it up. Resúmelo. Hopefully, by the end of the show, you'll be able to figure out what this person is saying word for word. But if you can't get it, don't worry, because we'll go through it. As with everything, here on the show, we solve every challenge, so you'll never be left with any doubts. You know, I don't ever ask a question I don't know the answer to, at least in class. Maybe in the real life, in real life, in the real world, But in class, I usually have an answer ready for you. Today, also, we're going to hear from Alfonso, Anix, Chris Valrol, Elena, and Nuria in our question of the week. We're going to be talking about food ingredients we dislike, we loathe. Did you know that word, loathe? It's another way of saying to detest, to hate. See, I detest that. Detestar, you say the same thing, right? All right. Also, I can give you next week's question of the week so you can start thinking about it over the weekend. What are the pros and cons of AI, in your opinion, obviously? You say IA, we don't. We say AI, al revés. Because it's not inteligencia artificial, it's artificial intelligence. In fact, I remember the movie with Haley Joel Osment, the kid from The Sixth Sense. Siempre va a ser el chaval de sexto sentido, ¿no? Always. No matter how many movies he makes, he's the kid from The Sixth Sense. Haley Joel Osment. And he was in a movie called AI. It was directed by Steven Spielberg, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a real boy. It was almost like the Pinocchio of our generation, right? So what are the pros and cons, in your opinion, of AI? Los pros y contras. You know, things that you think will maybe make our lives easier. And, well, as with everything, I mean, everything has pros and cons, I think. And if it doesn't, maybe we're not looking deep enough. Because even, you're saying, okay, well, having millions and millions of dollars, but then you know what? I know a lot of famous people, and they just wish they could go to the supermarket without being recognized. So, yeah, they've got the money thing under control, right? They've got tons of cash, houses everywhere, nice cars, but they can't go to a public space. And that is like being in a cage almost. That's like, okay, well, I just want to go, have a coffee at the corner, at the corner cafe. And you can't because you're going to get mobbed. In fact, I think it was Mbappe's mom who said, I feel really bad for my son. He can't go anywhere in public. All right, well, I'll tell you what, let's trade. You give me his money and, so again, there's no perfect situation. And once you realize that, I think life gets a little bit easier too, because we always think the grass is greener, right? The grass is greener. La expresión entera is the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. O sea, siempre parece más verde el césped del vecino, which means it's not. It's not. We all have the issue means we all have our problems. We all have our issues. We all have feelings of insecurity. We all get down. Nos deprimimos. I mean, if not, you're not human. Maybe you're AI. Maybe you're the boy from The Sixth Sense. All right. So what are the pros and cons? This is a hot topic right now. Un tema candente. Is that what you say? A hot topic that's it's a debate that's going on all over the place. So tell us, in your opinion, IMO, dirías, in my opinion, the pros and cons of AI. All right, that's next week's question of the week. Remember, as always, get it into me before Thursday, and this way I can take it. I usually put it into my editing software just to make sure the volume is okay, there's no background noise, all of that stuff, and make sure that it's ready to air on the radio. And then, of course, I put it into my mixing board, mi mesa de mezcla, I think you say, or de sonido, and we're good to go. So great stuff, my amigos. It's just a wonderful opportunity for you to express yourself in English and to practice your speaking. I know you're practicing your listening, your comprehension on a daily basis. But remember, that other part is really important too, being able to express yourself. All right, now let's listen to today's Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you for the first time, and then we'll discuss it. We'll see what you guys heard. We'll see if you recognize the accent, and maybe you can break down, desglosar, what's going on in this little 15-second audio clip. Okay, are you ready? Here it is for the first time.
When they came in the room with that box, it was a big, long, rectangular box full of all these really great tools and high, expensive expensive drawing utensils and pens and things like that. It was really well thought out.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. You're chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender. Y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right. This book is the shit, available at Vaughn, Tienda, or wherever fine books are sold. Remember, you can find our offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, Zaragoza, Las Tablas in Madrid, and also Pozuelo. So if you are looking for information, you want to see what materials we have, you can always go to the website, grupovon.com, or please stop by in person and tell us about yourself. Hey, this is, I need English for this. This is my level. My biggest difficulty is this. And we can, even if you don't sign up for any courses or buy any materials, we can at least lead you in the right direction. All right, so stop by, no strings attached, sin compromiso. We'd love to meet you. Nos encantaría conocerte. I know many of you, but not everybody in the offices know you. So you can introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm a Vaughn Radio listener. And with that, you'll be welcomed with open arms. You'll be welcomed with open arms no matter what. Pase lo que pase. But once we know you're a Vaughn Radio listener, we know that you get the way we do things. You get the Vaughn method. You get the idea behind our classes. And that's cool. You already know you have a match, una pareja, ¿no? Que hace juego. You're like, okay, I like the way they do this. Because there are a lot of academies out there now. Maybe there were back then, but now it's, everywhere. And everybody's trying to sell you the same thing. You're going to be fluent in 20 days. You know what I say there? I say bullshit. Mil palabras. Really? Is that how it works? Because that doesn't sound, that sounds like a scam. Eso me suena a un timo. Mil palabras, 40 días, 3 meses, whatever they're promising. Every student's different. So right off the bat, solo con eso doesn't make sense. And I always use a homophone to talk about this. Beware, tener cuidado, beware of false prophets trying to make a profit. O sea, cuidado con los profetas falsos que solo vienen a buscar beneficios. Because the internet, Instagram, everywhere, it's flooded, inundado. You know how I know? Because the algorithm, since I teach English, they always show me these accounts. Y la mitad les digo, okay, no me enseña. I'm not interested in this. It's a scam. Oh, I report them. I'm like, come on, man. You're promising people that in 2 months, they haven't spoken English in their whole lives, and you're telling them in 2 months they're going to be fluent. That's absolute bullshit. Okay? And it's not. And we're not going to make you any promises like that, any false promises. We're going to analyze each student as the individual that they are, and then tell you what we think could help you. And again, it's not even sign up for this course. It's, well, you need to work on this, this, and this. And we have this if you're interested. But if not, at least you'll know where you stand. ¿Dónde estás? All right. So that is grupovon.com. You can also follow us on social media, and you'll have all the info you need. You'll even know about upcoming events such as our November trivia night. Mark your calendars. November 4th, I will be hosting a trivia night. My family will be in attendance. All of my friends, including you guys, the ones who live in Madrid and the ones who are coming. We have some students that even come from Murcia, from all different places. So I thank you. I thank you for that effort that you make to come and hang out with us just for a night of fun and laughs. And again, you always leave there enriched, enriquecido. And not just because you learn things in the trivia, but because of the people you meet as well. It never fails. Nunca falla. All right, amigos, so let's move on to our next section, our pop quiz. Come on now. Come on, come on, come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz, 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 quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Welcome to our pop quiz. This is where we take a look at a wide range of different materials that you can pick up at Von Tienda. Remember, vontienda.com, or you can stop by in person. And today we are taking a look at Inglés Gramática Fácil. All right, this is 180 English lessons, not 18, aunque aún así es mucha. 180 lecciones en inglés with examples and, of course, with audio, because you can't teach language from a book without the audio. I mean, think about that. Like, okay, I'm going to read. I read something in Portuguese. Let's just say I'm learning Portuguese, and I read the sentence. How do I know I'm saying it right? How do I know that's not pronounced shush and it's not sha? Right? So this is, I mean, it's not important. It's indispensable. And that's why our materials come with audio. So we're going to listen to a little excerpt from Inglés Gramática Fácil. Again, it's available for $15.75. So under 16 euros for 180 lessons and around 4 hours of audio. So let's listen to a little clip now, and then I'll have some questions for you afterwards.
Day 45. Pasatiempo. I have 3 brothers, and all of them study every day. None of them have problems at school. My 2 sisters work quite hard. Neither of them is lazy. They're so full of themselves. They're quite arrogant. I'm going to do it myself. None of the others know how to do it. I'm still in touch with 2 of my old classmates. Both of them were my best friends. What happened to the 3 of you? You're covered in mud. None of you have clean clothes. Jimmy and Maggie, have you looked at yourselves? You're covered in dirt. Both of you need to wash yourselves. My grandparents built their house themselves. Both of them are very proud of themselves. Day 36. The passive voice. Listening challenge. Ask me when penicillin was discovered. Ask me if I'm being investigated. Ask me if rugby is played with 15 players. Ask me what year the light bulb was invented. Ask me where the G20 summit is being held. Ask me if the ministers are appointed by the president.
Day 21. Had better. Listening challenge. You'd better not be late. We'd better hurry up. You'd better tell me what happened. He'd better not get into trouble. This had better be good. You'd better not sign the contract.
Day 31. There plus modal verbs. Present. There can't be anything wrong with the boiler. There might not be anything wrong with the boiler after all. Could there be an easier way to fix the boiler? There might be something wrong with the boiler. There might not be anything wrong with the boiler after all. There must be something wrong with the boiler. There should be a way to fix the boiler. There might not be anything wrong with the boiler after all. There can't be anything wrong with the boiler. There might be something wrong with the boiler. There must be something wrong with the boiler.
All right, there you go, folks. Chock full of vocabulary and structures you need to know. This is Inglés, Gramática Fácil. Again, it's available at Von Tienda for $15.75. So just shy of, esto es otra forma de decir, un poco por debajo de, just shy of. Shy es tímido, pero esto es otro uso. It's just shy of 16 euros and 180 lessons, around 4 hours of audio. I couldn't think of a better deal, especially for you guys who are self-motivated. I push you every day, but you guys push yourselves. And you know what? That's, as a teacher, that's the best student I could ask for. And you can ask Kyle, and you can ask Fitz. A self-motivated student, I don't have to convince you. I just have to teach you. But I know I've had in corporations, when I worked at big banks and big companies, I had students who were just there, to say, I'm in English class now. Ha ha ha, look at me, take a selfie. Great. But then when I said, did you do your homework? They're like, oh yeah, I'm just so busy. It's like, okay, well, you know what? You know what I used to do? I used to go, you should go talk to human resources and tell them you don't have time for these extracurricular activities because they're spending a lot of money to make sure that you speak English, and they're wasting their money. And I remember their jaws would drop. Yeah, well, you know what? I was being honest. I'm like, listen, I'm sure your company would not be too happy that you're just coming here to take selfies and tell your friends, es que vengo de inglés, es que voy a inglés ahora. It sounds nice, but you got to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk, right? To talk the talk is hablar mucho. To walk the walk is cumplir con lo que dices. But you guys, you do both. You talk the talk every day and you walk the walk. So that's exactly what a teacher is looking for. And believe me, it is a godsend. Una bendición, a godsend, a blessing to have students such as yourselves. All right, now let's take a look. We've got a lot of lessons, but we'll take a look at them after the commercial break. Let me give you the 3 things I want from you, because as always, I want to make sure you know certain concepts from all of these different materials that we look at daily, a diario. So the first one, I know we've looked at this. How would you ask me, ¿tienes hermanos? But you don't want to say masculino. Quieres decir en general. ¿Tienes hermanos? All right. It's a common question you ask people, right? ¿Tienes hermanos? Okay, again, and I'm not saying hermanos masculino, digo hembra y macho. All right, so inclusive vocabulary, as they call it, right? So how would you ask that question? Number 2, we heard another way to say that somebody is egotistical, okay? Somebody is selfish. Somebody is self-centered, autocentrado, centrado en sí mismo. We call it main character syndrome. No te crees el protagonista de una película o algo así. Okay? But there was one way they said in this audio that is totally native. Okay? No tener abuela. I love that one. Es que lo traducen así. Ser ingreído, no tener abuela. Now, we don't say you don't have a grandmother, pero la primera vez que oí eso me encantaba. And I like the other one. Y parió la abuela. You got a lot of idiomatic expressions about grandmas. And the third one, I want you to use más te vale porque si no. And think about it. Just add anything. Anything that has a consequence. Más te vale estudiar porque si no, no vas a aprobar el examen. There's one example, but I want you guys to come up with your own examples. And you'll have the commercial break to think about it. We'll be right back with much more. So stick around. Welcome back. This is part two. Part two of today's show with no name. And don't forget, after today's show, the learning doesn't stop. It doesn't end. No way. You can learn 24/7, 365 with the free, I said it, free Vaughn Radio app. Also, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. After this show, you've got Speaking with Confidence with Ale. What a lovely voice she has. And lots of insight, conocimiento. After that, you've got another wacky show. The Probo show, no. The other one Rob does, the Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams. You've also got Ruby, a wonderful communicator, sharing her secrets with you. Also somebody who is a polyglot, que habla muchos idiomas. And then you've got the totally zen, you say zen, we say zen, the totally zen master, Jules Linares, in her program, Let's Get Random. Followed by Dave Boys and the Salad. You never know what you're going to get with Dave Boys, but you know you're going to have some fun. Then you've got Kyle Miller putting you to the test in Drive Time. What a way to make your commute home productive with Kyle Miller. And then when you get home, crack a beer, have a cocktail with my buddy Chris Frank and his soothing voice. I could listen to Chris for hours. You've also got Richard Vaughn Live, the man himself, el mismísimo. You've got the Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez, where you're working on wellness and your English at the same time. Talk about killing two birds with one stone. Yeah, that's what we say, killing two birds with one stone. I know you recognize that expression. All right, let's see. Let's kick things off with the Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you for the second time, and then we'll talk about what you heard, and we'll also check your pop quiz answers as well. All right, here you go. Listen up.
When they came in the room with that box, it was a big, long, rectangular box of all these really great tools and high, expensive drawing utensils and pens and things like that. It was really well thought out.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports, but I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. If you like to learn and laugh at the same time, I couldn't think of a better material. But if you're looking to go over the basics, the nuts and bolts, something we looked at this week, lo esencial, the nuts and bolts of the language, well, then I highly recommend the one we're looking at in our pop quiz, which is Inglés Gramática Fácil. All right, let's take a look. In that audio, we heard a few different structures. We've got neither or both. Esto es cuando somos dos. So let me give you an example. Who speaks English, you or your daughter? Both of us speak English. Okay? Who speaks English? Who speaks Chinese? You or your wife? Neither of us speak Chinese. All right, so that's when you have two options. When you have more than two options, if I say, who speaks English? You, your sister, or your brother? Then you would say, all of us speak English. Right? So both se cambia a all, or all of them, si estáis hablando de otros, ya ahí cambiamos según las personas, okay? And none reemplaza al neither, okay? You can also say neither. You say neither, I say neither, neither, either, either. Let's call the whole thing off. That's a great song to learn different pronunciations. The only one is we don't say potato. O sea, en esa canción ya se inventa lo de potato. La única que no vale es potato. Because both English and American people say potato, right? Y ahí es donde viene mi argumento con los británicos. Digo, entonces es potato, pero no es tomato. Okay, that makes sense. And usually they zip it. They say, yeah, you're right. It should be uniform. It should be the same all throughout. So careful with that one. I've heard people mix up the neither and both versus all and none. All and none for more than two people, neither and both for two people. Also, we looked at the passive voice, or as I call it, the documentary tense. That's right, the documentary tense. America was discovered by Columbus. Yeah, you could say it in direct speech. Columbus discovered America. Colón, you call him. We call him Columbus. But if you watch a documentary, then and police talk like this too. The robbery was committed by a felon, right? A felon is un criminal grave. How do we say this? The robbery was committed by a felon. Delincuente que ha metido, madre mía, delincuente que ha cometido un delito grave. Toma. We just have one word. You have a paragraph to describe that. And it makes sense because a felony, con Y después, es un delito grave, right? So a felony versus, what do we call it? Now I'm thinking a felony versus, see, now I can't remember. A felony versus a petty crime. Misdemeanor, eso es la palabra. A felony or a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor is not as serious. A felony, well, if you're a felon, let's put it this way, it's not easy to get a job ever again in your life, right? If you are a felon, okay? So the passive voice, hey, it's just one of the things you'll learn in this amazing material. And then we heard a lot of modal verbs as well. And what are modal verbs? Well, modal verbs are verbs that help the main verb to add some meaning. Verbs such as can, right? May, might, would, shall, should, must. And there are three things that all modal verbs have in common. Write them down if you didn't know them. Again, this is the kind of stuff you'll go over in these books. And sometimes it's really important to go over those nuts and bolts. And number one, they are followed by the infinitive form of the verb, of the big verb, the main verb, I'll call it, without to, right? So I can go tomorrow, not I can to go, okay? They do not change their spelling for third person singular. So you don't say, my sister can walks. Ahí no tocamos el verbo, right? Estamos usando can para ver, y esto se puede aplicar a todos, okay? And they form questions by inverting the subject and the modal verb. So it's not, you can swim, it's, can you swim? All right? So if you bear that in mind, those three things, then you should be able to master modal verbs. And modal verbs are awesome. They make life easy. In Spanish, puede que haya venido. She may have come, right? Debería venir. She should come, right? These are things that add meaning to the verb, and they give it, they discuss the potential situation, right? So it's, I come, I should come. Same verb, but it alters the meaning. Altera, it alters the meaning a little bit. And you should be familiar with them because they're used all the time. All right? So just some, you've got must, can, might, could, may, should, would. Cuidado que no pronuncias will, could, should. Right? That's a very common pronunciation mistake. La L es muda. O sea, quítala. Would, could, should. Y me recuerda la expresión cuando alguien te dice, oh, I would have gone to your party yesterday if I had had time. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't es como no me vengas con excusas. Que podías haber, deberías haber, pero no. Okay, la realidad es que no. All right, so these are just some things that are worth reviewing because they are indispensable parts of the language. All right, let's go on over to our chat room over here. I see we've got a lot of people playing and having fun with us. There's Anix, and she says, hi there. Hello, Anix. We're looking forward to hearing from you a little bit later on in our question of the week. There's Chris Valrol, ready to rock. She says, morning lively show with no-namers. Excited and driven. Some great vocabulary in there. Driven, motivada. Yeah, because you can say motivated, pero es totalmente nativo decir driven. So great and lively. We looked at that word the other day. We were talking about an actress named Blake Lively. And that's a word I can never say in Spanish. Dichachachero or something. I always fucking mess. That's a difficult word, guys. It should be eliminated. So lively is animado, alegre, vivaz. Okay, that would be a great way to say it without having to say the dichachachero thing. Hey, guys, we have to admit our strengths and our weaknesses. And that word is one of those words that's just never going to get into my head. There's too much cha-cha-cha-cha in it. All right, let's see. Chris Valrol has got something to say about our Say What soundbite. Let's see what she heard. She says, I heard an American guy. Chris, you got the accent right today. Excellent. Yes, the person is from the US of A, my country. And she says, I heard an American guy. He says something about a big box with top of the range tools or a top of the range tool. So te falta o el A o la S, que yo pondría la S porque habla de varios, with top of the range tools, o sea, lo mejor de lo mejor, herramientas. But I don't know if they were musical instruments or some other kind of tool. Well, Chris, you are on the right track. And what if I tell you one of the words there is pens? So they're tools for an artist, for drawing or painting. All right? So, hey, see, you figured it out. I'm just helping you now and just leading you in the right direction. So, yes, it has to do with drawing tools, so crayons, colored pencils, paint brushes, these kinds, like an artist's set. Okay? Un conjunto para artistas. So, great ear, Chris. And you are on the right track. Also, Chris is participating in today's pop quiz. And she says, do you have siblings? Acordaos, suena más natural con el any. Do you have any siblings? Okay, so excellent. The word is siblings, and that's when we don't want to say whether it's a male or a female. Now, you can always say, do you have any brothers or sisters? Y es muy importante el orden, because sisters and brothers no suena normal. It's like if I say, I'm going to see my uncles and aunts. No, I'm going to see my aunts and uncles. Hay un orden lógico. Okay, there is a logical, well, not lógico, pero hay uno que usamos. The same way you say sal y pimienta, if I say, pásame la pimienta y sal, you're going to say, what? He visto una película en negro y blanco. What? No, es blanco y negro. Pues en inglés es black and white, right? So do you have any siblings? It reminds me of another word, spouse. If we don't want to say you're the person you're married to, if they're a man or a woman, this is where you would say, what is your spouse's name? ¿Cuál es el nombre de tu cónyuge? I think you say, right? It's a formal word, but hey, there's a time to be formal and there's a time to be informal. Okay, so do you have any brothers or sisters, or do you have any siblings? Awesome job, Chris. She answers the question and she says, yes, I have a lovely sister called Alma. That's a beautiful name. Alma, soul. It's beautiful. The next one, she says, that guy is full of himself. Lleno de sí mismo. That's the word I was looking for. He is full of himself. Have you heard what he told me? Great. So to be full of yourself is to be self-centered, right? To be egotistical. Okay. Great job. And let's see, the last one, she says, you'd better pack now. Otherwise, we'll miss the train. Excellent job. You'd better pack. Now, el you'd better is you had better, right? Pero cuando lo contraemos es you'd, ¿ok? Y te digo algo, americanos nos comemos esa D. O sea, si lo decimos you better, man, you better listen to me, or else, o sea, la D está ahí. So if you're going to take a Cambridge exam, put the D there, because there is a D. But if you say it, we don't. Right? Maybe in our heads, you'd better, pero nos lo comemos. Como es difícil darle a esa D ahí, muchas veces oirás you better. De hecho, hay una canción de The Who. You better bet your life. Es un juego de palabras. Apostar, you better, más te vale. So you'd better pack now. Otherwise, or else, porque si no, or else, you can say otherwise or else we'll miss the train. Y acordaos, el or else y el you'd better es tan fuerte que no hay que decir nada después de el or else, porque ya sabemos que la consecuencia es grave, right? You'd better listen to me or else, porque ya sabes lo que va a pasar. Excellent job, Chris, Val, Rol, and Anix. And we've got to move on, though, because we've got so much to do on today's show. So right now, it's time for today's news report.
This is the news report on the show with no name, bringing you the latest breaking news. I'm Alberto Alonso, reporting live.
That's right, amigos. Our news report here on the show with no name. All right, I call this story, it's a double trouble, the title I gave it. Let's see if you guys understand it. Pulled over for pulling a Heeeeey. What? Do you get it? Say it in other words if you get it. You can say it here in the comments. Pulled over for pulling a Heeeeey. All right? Well, police in the United States thought that they had found a reckless driver. Temerario, you say? A reckless driver when they watched a taxi or a cab make an illegal U-turn. Okay? What is a U-turn? 180 grados. Piénsalo, es una U. Right? So now you get it. Pulled over, le paró la policía, for pulling a Heeeeey. We say to pull a Heeeeey. Okay, a Heeeeey is a U-turn. Okay, por hacer, what is the word you say? Hacer la pirula? So, yes, this taxi cab made an illegal U-turn right in front of the cops. Now, when the cops took a closer look, they noticed that there was no one in the driver's seat. Y esto es una expresión también que significa que no hay nadie al volante. You say the same thing, right? There's nobody in the driver's seat. Yeah. So they pulled over. This was in San Bruno, California. They pulled over one of these Waymo driverless cars. Okay. Have you heard of Waymo? It's being used in certain cities now. It's these taxis that are driverless. No hay conductor. Okay. So they were faced with a crisis here because who do you give a fine to? ¿A quién le das la multa? Right? I mean, pulling an illegal U-turn, well, you get a fine, right? It's reckless driving. But again, they had to let the suspect, which is the car, go. Because I think this was the first time that they saw something like this. They were like, wait, so who are we going to cite? Who are we going to give a citation to? Esto es otra forma de decir una multa, right? A ticket, a fine, a citation. And there was no human driver, so they couldn't issue a ticket, naturally. And the cops, well, they found the humor in the situation. And they said, our citation books, okay, citación, pero no es citación. Vamos a ver cómo lo traducen aquí. Citation. Citation. Con C, empieza con C. Yeah, citación, notificación. I didn't know. Okay, so yes. And they said, our citation books don't have a box for robot. O sea, we're not ready for that here. And they described the situation as a first. La primera vez que lo vieron. And they contacted Waymo about the problem. So obviously they said, all right, well, we can't give a car a citation, but we can contact the company and see if there's an issue. Because obviously, if you're going to be, driving in one of these or getting a ride, I should say, you're not driving, the car's driving itself. If you're going to be getting a ride in these, you want to make sure that not just for the ticket, but for your safety, that this thing is not participating in reckless driving and it's following or abiding by the laws of the road, right? So they were baffled, perplejos. They were like, oh my God. So they let the company know that there was a glitch. A glitch es un fallo técnico. And they said, the spokesperson for Waymo said, well, these autonomous driving systems are designed to obey the rules of the road. And they are looking into the situation. To look into is to investigate. They are looking into this situation and are committed to improving road safety through ongoing es que sigue en vigor, ongoing learnings and experiences. And you can find these Waymo driverless taxis in a few major U.S. cities where they're trying it out. poniéndolo a prueba. You can find them in San Francisco and also in Los Angeles. And these vehicles are Jaguars. And they got nice cars to do it. They are Jaguars, and they have a wide range of sensors around the car. And they navigate around different cities, the cities I just mentioned, and a few others, using an onboard mapping and computing system. And it's weird. A friend of mine who's from San Francisco, when he was visiting last summer, he was driving his car, and all of a sudden, he pulled up next to one of these cars, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, he actually told his daughter, because you can't take out your phone when you're driving. And he basically, what he did was told his daughter, quick, take a picture. This car is driving without a driver. And it's just weird. It's weird to see a car without a driver. Nobody has gotten used to this yet. Even the police aren't ready for it yet. So there you go, my amigos. That is today's news report. Right now, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. We've got a lot of stuff to cover in the next part of the show, in the second half. My God. Wow. Are we halfway through the show already? Jeez Louise. All right. Well, we're going to have to put the pedal to the metal, folks. We're going to pick up the pace in the second half. I hope we don't get pulled over for speeding. Remember, to be pulled over, a very important word to know. If a police officer says it to you in the United States, you'd better pull over or else. We'll be right back, folks. Stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, my amigos. Welcome back to part 3, the second half of today's show. We're going to kick things off with our homophones, or not, you tell me. Then we've got our Say What soundbite for the third time. We'll hear from some of our students in the question of the week. We've also got our spelling bee and so much more. A lot of stuff going on here on the show. We looked at modal verbs. We looked at the passive voice. All stuff that you need to master. Also, to pull over. The cop pulled me over because I pulled a Heeeeey. A Heeeeey, again, is short for a U-turn. 180, right? Well, remember, there are legal U-turns and there are illegal U-turns, right? Cuando tú dices, bueno, voy por aquí. Hay veces que pone que sí, puedes dar la vuelta. The same way a K-turn es when you parallel park. ¿Por qué? Porque haces una K cuando metes el coche entre dos coches. Chris Valrol says a pirula, a dirty trick. Also, it says here on word reference, una pequeña infracción. That's what I meant. Lo sé de haber estado en coches con amigos. Voy a hacer la pirula aquí. And I was like, okay, I got it. But yes, it also says a dirty trick. Hey, that's a double trouble in Spanish. A dirty trick or a small, minor infraction. All right, well, my amigos, we've got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's kick things off with our homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It is definitely time for Show with No Name, homophones. And today, I'm warning you in advance. You are forewarned, prevenido. This one, think about it long and hard before you answer, because it's tricky. It's a tricky one. All right. The first word I'm pretty sure you'll be familiar with because you use it. Es un anglicismo. Okay. Cuando hablamos de los músculos del torso, right? Your torso muscle, your abdominal muscles, la zona media del cuerpo. Okay. But it also is centro del cuerpo, centro de un planeta, right? Núcleo. It's also corazón en una fruta, right? En una manzana. It's the center part. O sea, que también es el verbo descarozar o deshuesar, sacar el corazón, right? De una manzana, por ejemplo. All right? So, carozo de la manzana. Carozo o corazón de la manzana. Okay? It's also used for other fruit, but I'm using that one because it's the first one that comes to mind, and it's used pretty frequently, okay? So it is the center, el núcleo, el corazón, el meollo, if we're talking about the essential part of something, all right? That is your first word. The second word is, oh, look at that, okay. Cuerpo, pero cuerpo militar, no cuerpo, mi cuerpo, my body, que no es body, it's body, okay? So cuerpo, a military unit or a body of people, an organization, right? So, we say a body of people, pero sería mucho más normal decir esto. De hecho, los marines, la marina, you call them? Or no, I get confused with the armed forces. Okay, well, we say the marine, el cuerpo de los marines, right? So that is your second word. The first word is meollo, corazón, centro, esencial, núcleo, right? And the second one is cuerpo, pero no cuerpo físico, sino unidad, organización, cuerpo de gente. All right? Those are your two words. Are you familiar with them? And are you familiar with the way they're pronounced? If so, you can tell us in the comments. Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time.
When they came in the room with that box, it was a big, long, rectangular box of all these really great tools and high, expensive drawing utensils and pens and things like that. It was really well thought out.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. If you want more information on Vaughntown, well, all you have to do is go over to grupovaughn.com. That's right, grupovaughn.com, and you can find everything you'll need to know. You can find out about materials, courses such as Vaughntown, the Master's Course, Disney English for the kids, and many, many more options. Remember, we've got something for every budget, every level under the sun, and all you got to do is just reach out. Contacta con nosotros. You can stop by in person. You can send us a message. You can call. There's no wrong way to get in touch with us. All right, let's go on over here to our comment section over here, and let's see what we've got. Now, we've got a lot of people on board, but you guys have sold out Chris Valrol today. I see. You're making her do all the work. All right, that's all right. No problem, as long as she doesn't mind. Because there are more people here, but the only one who is brave, valiente, today at least, is Chris. So tough show today, huh? Tough show, making you guys sweat. Because normally I get at least a few people who are brave enough to take a stab at it. Just remember this, guys. If you're wrong, you lose nothing. You get the lesson, right? Think of it that way. I know a lot of people are afraid of making mistakes. Don't be. Don't be, because mistakes are blessings in disguise. We say bendiciones ocultas. All right, let's see. Chris Valrol gives us the two words correctly, and she says, I'm going to say they're homophones. I told you. See, Chris is like, I look at them and I think no, but because if you look at the two words, you're like, absolutely not. One ends with an S and one ends with an E. Like, what? It's impossible. Well, folks, Chris Valrol knocked it out of the freaking park. Yeah. Wow. Chris. Oh, wow. Man, I am telling you, that one, I think that's one of the hardest ones we've ever looked at. I guess that explains why everybody else was kind of like being passive, or as what is Andy Vaughn and Rob call them, the lurkers, the ones who are just there learning from your mistakes, not from their own. Well, don't worry. You didn't make a mistake. You freaking nailed it. So congratulations to Chris Valrol. Excellent. Excellent job. All right. So the first one is core, C-O-R-E, right? An apple core, the core idea. When you go to the gym, it's really important to work on your core, tu centro, tu núcleo, right? Also, when we say to the core, que es una expresión, es hasta la médula, right? I'm a madridista to the core, to the bone, hasta el tuétano, hasta la médula. So it's a really rich word because, as I said, it's even the verb, right? We're going to core the apple because, well, I'm going to cut it up so it's easier to digest. All right. So core, C-O-R-E. A lot of times you'll hear it as well in business. Our core business is tal, nuestra actividad principal. Okay. Core. And the second one, C-O-R-P-S. And you know what? That's also pronounced core. All you have to do is talk to anybody who joined the Marine Corps. It's not the Marine Corps. It's the Marine Corps. Pero sí que corpse es una palabra, pero eso sí que es cuerpo, pero cadáver. Okay? Y ese se escribe corpse. So in that case, yes, the P and the S are pronounced, right? So they found the guy in the Marine Corps found a corpse with the core missing, con el centro, el torso, que le faltaba el torso. So the word corpse is not a homophone. That's another third one that I'm adding, just so you know. Corpse se escribe. You can also say cadaver. We say cadaver or corpse, right? But that second word, as Chris pointed out, core, that P, that S is silent. So Excellent job. I couldn't fool you. No way, Jose. Excellent job. All right, folks, we need to move on because, as you know, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. And right now it's time for our question of the week.
Question of the week.
That's right. Question of the week. This week, we're going to take a look at some ingredients that you dislike, that you detest, that you loathe, that you can't stand, que no soportas. And you already know my answer, and you saw how aggressive I get when I talk about mayo. Yeah, mayo. It's just like they assume you want it. And you're like, I didn't ask for mayo. Why is it on my sandwich? And why doesn't it say it on the menu? You've assumed that I want mayo, and I don't want mayo. So now you can take it back and bring me another sandwich. Thank you very much. So, ask my wife. It really grinds my gears. Me saca de quicio. And she's like, okay. She's like, let me talk to the waiter, okay? Because I'm like, who asked for mayo? Who did I say mayo? Does it say mayo? Why is there mayo on it? I didn't say mayo. You didn't say mayo. So where did the mayo come from? It just, magically appeared. Wow, a miracle. Why don't you make some caviar magically appear? I mean, it's just the same thing. Well, we're going to put caviar on it, but it doesn't say it on the menu. Well, then you should put it on the menu. All right. Well, we're going to hear from your fellow students. First up, we've got Alfonso.
Hi, Alberto. It's Alfonso from Ruby. For this week's question, I'd say I really don't like the texture of fresh tomatoes.
The texture, right? Texture of fresh tomatoes. You're not alone, Alfonso.
It feels strange to me. On the other hand,
en cambio, muy bien. And also, a lot of people describe that center of the tomato as slimy, como viscoso. So I know a lot of people in that category, Alfonso. All right, let's continue.
they're cooked, they taste amazing. I love fried tomatoes and all kinds of sauce made with them.
That's another thing. There are some people who like a certain ingredient when it's cooked, but not when it's raw, or vice versa.
Even ketchup. I enjoy bolognese pasta, tomato on pizza, gazpacho, baked tomatoes.
Don't forget about, what is it called? Not gazpacho, el primo de gazpacho. What is it called now? I can't remember. Salmorejo. Oh, I love that stuff.
Basically, anything with tomato sauce. And I also love cleaning the sauce from the plate with a piece of bread. That's my favorite part. See ya.
Oh, yeah. My grandfather, Alberto, he would never have pasta without a piece of bread. Why? And people say, well, you're eating carbohydrates in the pasta and he goes, yeah, but I got to clean the plate after. Oh, man, to clean the plate. That is great. To dip. We say to dip. Also to clean the plate, to dip is mojar. So great answer, Alfonso. And I've got to say, you're getting better at expressing yourself in English. It's evident. So keep up the great work, Alfonso. You sound even better than last week. And that's the goal. As I told you when I wrote to you, I answered your email. He says, well, the other students are, they're playing on a different level. And I said, don't you ever compare yourself to somebody else. You're on your own journey. And Alfonso, you're kicking ass. Keep it up. You spoke clearly. And I think it made all the sense in the world. You defended your answer and you said it's not just about tomatoes. I actually love the flavor of tomatoes. What I can't take is the texture. Excellent job, Alfonso. You should be very proud of yourself. All right, let's see who's up next. It's Hey there.
Hey there. This is Onyx. If there's a food ingredient that I can't stand, apart from meat, is cilantro.
Cuidado, no, it's, right? Hay que oír esa T.
Um,
Also, some people say that cilantro tastes like dish soap, como Feidi. See, no, I've heard that before. I like it, but I've heard people compare the taste to like soap.
and that's a big deal if you're a Colombian, because it is almost in every dish, from soups to sauces and even salads. And as soon as you add it, the only thing you can taste is cilantro.
Yeah, it's true. It is one of those ingredients that overpowers a dish. We say to overpower, como coge control del plato y ahora solo sabe a eso.
I can't stand it. Okay, guys, bye-bye.
Excellent job, Onyx. You explained yourself beautifully. And another person who's not alone. I know a lot of people who can't stand cilantro, and many South American and Latin, South and Central American, I should say, dishes. It's a staple. A staple, algo esencial. I always use the example of olive oil in a Spanish kitchen. It's a staple, que también es la palabra grapa. All right, excellent job, Anix and Alfonso. Let's see who's up next. It's Chris Valrol, our movie queen.
Morning, show with the namers. Chris Valrol here. I can be a little bit picky
Great word, picky, finicky.
about textures, necessity, and digestion. Let me put it this way. Regarding texture, liver and offal in general is a case in point. I can't stand its smell or its taste either.
Yeah, liver. In the United States, we don't like liver. I know that in Spain, a lot of people eat liver. In fact, if you want to tell somebody, ¿qué? ¿No cuento yo aquí? ¿Soy el último mono? What am I, chopped liver? ¿Qué soy, hígado picado? Así, para que veas cuánto lo valoramos. All right, let's continue.
As for necessity, sometimes I wonder what the earth we have to put ketchup, mayo, or aioli on our food. And this brings us to digestibility. Aioli, for instance, is not very digestible, repeats on you.
Burp.
Well, folks, up to here, some of my food quirks. Thank you. Bye.
Food quirks, excentricidades. I don't even know if I said that correctly, but wow, Chris, you sounded great. You sound cool, calm, and collected. Esto es una expresión que significa que lo tienes todo bajo control. And that is awesome. So far, we've heard some excellent observations from Alfonso, Anix, and Chris Valrol. In the next part of the show, we'll hear from Elena and Nudia. But right now, it's time for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, amigos. It's time for our Spelling Bee. All right, as always, I'm going to spell some words for you here. On the first round, I'm going to fly. And I guess it has something to do with a beach today. Una playa? Yeah, I guess so. All right, here we go. The first one is REPUBLIC space OF space FIJI. The next one is MELANESIA. The third one is OCEANIA. The next one is SOUTH space PACIFIC space OCEAN. The fifth one is ARCHIPELAGO. And the last one is 330 space ISLANDS. There you go. And Chris, I like what you said about digestibility. I know my grandma, I'm talking a lot about my grandparents today. Well, my grandma loved to cook, and she loved peppers, and she loved onions. but she couldn't eat them if they weren't cooked, right? Because peppers and onions repeat. She says leek as well, puero. Yeah, that's kind of like an onion flavor. Garlic as well. You'll be tasting it all afternoon. Also, some of the ingredients in chorizo. I don't know if it's maybe the one of the seasonings in chorizo that, it causes indigestion in some people, notably me. I love the stuff, but I've got to avoid it. All right, let me give you another 10, 20 seconds to see if anybody got those words on the first go. Obviously, it has something to do with the ocean or the beach because we heard some waves in the background. All right, going once, going twice. All right, let's do round 2. All right, I'm going to slow down, and hopefully somebody, Chris Valrol, it seems, will be the only one to get it today. All right, here we go. The first one is REPUBLIC space OF space FIJI. The next one is MELANESIA. The next one, OCEANIA. The fourth one, SOUTH space PACIFIC space OCEAN. The fifth one, ARCHIPELAGO. Lots of vowels today, muchos vocales. And the last one is 330 space ISLANDS. All right, I think that was fair enough, lo justo, where anybody who listens to this show should be able to jot those words down. All right, I'll give you another 10, 20 seconds. And I'll tell you what, we've got to go to a commercial break in about a minute. So going once, going twice. Oh, tough one today. Yeah. Muchas A's, es, ies. And those are the three most confusing letters in the English language when it comes to Spanish speakers, because your I, muchos quieren poner la A, pero es la I. If you say E in English, it's la E. So it tends to be one of the ones that throws, three of the letters, vowels specifically, that throw people off. Les desconcierta. All right, folks. We're going to a quick commercial break, our final commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with No Name. Thank you to all the students who participated in our question of the week. That is Alfonso, Anix, Chris Valrol, Elena, and Nuria. You are head and shoulders above the rest. And you can tell, y se nota, in the confidence that you have when you express yourself. You may make a little mistake, but that's not going to stop you. And that's the real secret. Because if you're worried about making mistakes, then you're not involved in the conversation. You're in your head. And it's never good to be in your head in the middle of a conversation. It's good to be present, right? But the only way we can get that is by being exposed to the language, by listening to it, by repeating what we hear, the stuff I tell you to do every day here on this show. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, we've also got a spelling bee winner. No surprise here. A star student, Chris Valrol. We were taking a look at the Fiji Islands. That's right. Because today, in the year 1970, Fiji became independent. That's right. And the words were Republic of Fiji. The second one was Melanesia. The third one is Oceania. This is where it's located. And the fourth one was the South Pacific Ocean. The fifth one was Archipelago. Yeah, we say the same word. And the sixth one was 330 islands. And 330 islands make up the Fiji Islands. I've always wanted to go there since I discovered Fiji water. Have you ever seen, there's a brand of water called Fiji. And I remember thinking, this water's delicious. And, you know, a lot of times water tastes the same, you know, but there was something about that water. Now, I don't know if it really comes from Fiji, but I remember it made me so curious. It was so, maybe I was really thirsty. And I just remember saying, I'm going to look into Fiji, right? That curiosity made me think, Fiji, where's that? What is that? And I looked it up. And this was when I was in, I had just graduated college. I remember because I was living in Los Angeles, the Republic of Fiji. And it is in the South Pacific Ocean. All right, excellent job in our spelling bee. Why don't we kick things off with our double trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It is our double trouble here on the show with no name. And ooh, did I say double? Oh, geez. Oh, my God. It's triple. Yeah. All right, don't worry. I think you guys can handle it. And we've looked at two of these you should know already. The third one, you're going to learn today, I think. I don't know if you know this one. Maybe you're familiar with it. Well, we are going to find out in just a second. Okay. Prefiero no correr en la carrera. Solo hay gente de mi raza. Tengo que mear que no puedo más. Okay? So, prefiero no correr en la carrera. Okay? Solo hay gente de mi raza. Y tengo que mear como loco. Okay? Tengo que mear, pero que no me aguanto. Okay? Thus, the sound effect there. Got to use the same word 3 times, but I think the first one's easy. Correr en una carrera. I'm not talking about run. Okay, you can use the word carrera. Okay, all right. I'm not going to give you any more. Well, I am. I'm helping you out a little bit because I think that last one, you either know it or you don't. Okay? And it means you have to pee like crazy. You can't hold it anymore. We've all been in that situation, haven't we? So, prefiero no correr en la carrera. Solo hay gente de mi raza. Y ahora tengo que mear a más no poder. Que no me aguanto. All right, that is your triple trouble. You have to use the same word 3 times. Good luck. Also, I'm going to give you guys the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 4th and final time.
When they came in the room with that box, it was a big, long, rectangular box of all these really great tools and high expensive, expensive drawing utensils and pens and things like that. It was really well thought out.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, folks. If you want more information about our masters, Vaughan Town, or any of the amazing initiatives we offer, go to grupovaughan.com. Oh, I also forgot to tell you something regarding our homophones today. You guys know the Beatles had their own record company, and it was called Apple Core. Do you get it now? O sea, Apple, C-O-R-P-S, el cuerpo de Apple, right? Apple Core. And what does that sound like? El corazón de la manzana, right? Apple Core. So you see what they did? It had like a double meaning there. Apple Core and el cuerpo de la manzana, la organización de la manzana. So excellent stuff over there. And it's a good way to remember that word, even though it has a P and an S in it, is pronounced core, right? It's like the word debt. There's no B in that word. Well, yeah, there's a B, but not when you pronounce it. Debt, deuda. All right. Okay, let's see what we've got. We've got Gloria. I think I got your number. We were singing that song yesterday in the car. It came on the radio, and my daughter, my wife, and I, at the top of our lungs, Gloria. Why don't they make music like that anymore? Where it's like, you can't help but sing along. Es que no lo puedes evitar. Like you put on that song, and I don't care who you are, you're going to sing along if you hear it twice, right? So, Gloria, great to have you here on board supporting Chris Valrol, because the rest of you are making her do all the work today. Now, don't worry. She's not worried, and neither am I. She's a workhorse. But that tells me a little bit about you guys today. I guess it's a tough show. Hey, that's life. Some days are tougher. Some days are easier. But I guess a lot of people are sweating today. Sweating bullets. Como va la canción de Megadeth. Sweating bullets. Sudando como un pollo, you say. All right, let's see. Gloria says, hi there. Long time no see or speak. Well, primero, welcome back with a Totally Native. And she says, I prefer not to run in the race. There are only people of my race. I have to pee like a racehorse. Oh my God. Whoa, Gloria. How did you know that totally native expression? Tengo que mear como un caballo de carrera. I guess they have, yo siempre lo he pensado, es que tienen que mear mucho los, I guess so. Because in English, if somebody says, I have to pee like a racehorse, que no me aguanto. O sea, me meo que no me aguanto. So excellent. And you could say, I prefer not to race in that race. Podría ser un quadruple trouble, because race también es un verbo, right? I prefer not to race in that race because there are only people of my race. I have to pee like a racehorse. Wow, and wow. Impressive. Okay, let's see. Chris Valrol says, I prefer not to run in the race. There are only people of my race, and I have to pee urgently. Well, hey, you did your best there, but now you know when we say I have to pee like a racehorse, no me aguanto. Okay? I can't hold it in anymore. All right. And Chris says, bravo, Gloria. It's really glorious you're here You got it. All right. There it is, folks. So, yes, to pee like a racehorse. Oh, and she says, I once learned it from you. Hey, one thing is learning it, and another thing is remembering it and using it. So, Gloria, kudos to you. And in that song, puede ser tengo tu número de teléfono, pero también es te tengo calada, te tengo fichada. Gloria, I think I got your number. I've got your number. Es te tengo calada, te tengo fichada. See, we can learn from music, from movies, and the world around us. But it's not time for Name That Movie yet. We still have to hear from some of our students here on our question of the week. Up next, we've got Elena.
Hello, everybody. This is Elena. I simply can't stomach whipped cream.
I simply can't stomach. Qué bien, no aguanto. No lo. To stomach. Stomach es estómago, pero también es no soporto, no aguanto. Y cuidado, no wiped cream, because wipe es pasar un trapo. Whipped cream, ¿ok? La I es como E. Whipped cream. Ok, seguimos. ¿Qué es nata montada, you say?
Why can't I digest whipped cream?
Whipped cream, bueno, ya lo hemos visto.
It's disgusting. It brings on my retching. As soon as I put it in my mouth, I find it sickly sweet. Well,
sickly sweet, empalagoso, great job.
It all goes back to the time when my mom would bake a lot of cakes and desserts. And after she finished, she would give me, my sister and me, the beaters of the mixer to lick the whipped cream left. So
whipped cream, pero bueno.
I guess I went overboard and stuffed my face with it that much that on a given day, I wound up tossing my cookies.
I wound up tossing my cookies. Acabé vomitando. That is totally native. I wound up. Viene del verbo to wind up. Acabar. Great, great, Elena. Well, not great that you tossed your cookies. Great that you know that those phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions.
And believe me, since then, it's never been my cup of tea. And besides, it's not a big deal, right? You know, because it contains lots of sugar, fat. So I don't need to bring myself to eat that cream to feel like the cream of the crop, guys. Well, everybody, take care. See ya.
You know what? I got to say something, Elena. I share your sentiments. I don't know, just something about it. It's disgusting. I can't take whipped cream. I know a lot of people love it, and I know some people who take it right from the can and they put it right in their mouths. It makes me want to toss my cookies too. So we are on the same page. Excellent job, Elena. And last, but certainly not least, we're going to hear from Nuria.
Okay, there, advertance winner namers. This is Nuria from Madrid. And I'm going to sink my teeth into this week's question.
To sink my teeth into it. Hincar el diente. Excellent.
It's safe to say that many people enjoy eating hot and spicy food, maybe because they are looking for some kind of pleasure, such as a feeling of euphoria or happiness. But honestly, this is food for thought because...
Food for thought. Algo que pensar. Algo para reflexionar. Food for thought. Wow, you guys sound great. Excellent.
Actually, eating spicy foods like chili peppers or dishes made with strong spices can irritate the digestive tract, among other things. Then you can tell that the popular food ingredient I dislike the most is the flavor of spicy food. So spicy brings tears to my eyes. Take care, amigos. Thank you.
Excellent job, Nuria. Yeah, I know a lot of people who don't like spicy food. They say, well, then I can't taste the food. That's the same thing with a lot of condiments. If you love steak so much, why are you covering it in barbecue sauce, right? So excellent job. What can I say except keep it up? Keep it up. And I urge you all to participate next week so you can continue to improve your speaking. And right now we're going to the movies. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. This movie is beautiful. Not just the movie, but also the soundtrack, La Banda Sonora. All right, let's see if you recognize the movie from the synopsis. 78-year-old Carl Fredrickson travels to South America in his house equipped with balloons. Es obvio, ¿no? Okay. Inadvertently taking a young stowaway. Okay, vamos por partes. 78-year-old es adjetivo, no coge ese. So you could say he's 78 years old, pero el momento que va adelante es adjetivo. A 78-year-old man, Carl Fredrickson, travels to South America in his house, equipped with, equipado con, balloons. Inadvertently. Now, inadvertently means it was unintentionally. Okay? Inadvertently, with a stowaway, a young stowaway, polizón. Oh, I didn't know that word. A hidden passenger. Okay? A hidden passenger. And ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Excuse me. Give it up for Chris Valrol. I had a frog in my throat there. You saying pollo, right? You got the movie and you got the Say What soundbite. The movie is Up, and he was up for it. Le apetecía. I love it. What a beautiful movie it is. Up. That's right. And let's take a look at the scene from Up. Russell says, I've never been in a floating house before. And then he says, goggles? Goggles. Goggles son gafas, pero las de bucear, las de snow, las que te aprietan a la cara. No se dicen glasses, se dicen goggles. Y no se dicen Googles porque son dos Gs y no dos Os. Look at this stuff. Wow. You're going on a trip? See, now he's nosy, right? Vas de viaje? And he picks up a picture of Paradise Falls. That's where their destination is. And it says, Paradise Falls, a land lost in time. You're going to South America, Mr. Fredrickson? And Carl grabs the picture from the boy, and he goes, don't touch that. You'll soil it. To soil is to dirty something. You'll soil it. And then Russell says, you know, most people take a plane, but you're smart because you'll have all your TVs and clocks and stuff. So there you go, folks. What a beautiful movie it is. If you haven't seen it, you've got to check it out in English, and the soundtrack is just lovely. All right, it's time for your joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, folks. Did I tell you I have a racehorse? Yeah. He has to pee too. I have a racehorse, and his name is Mayo. Yeah, I know I don't like mayo, as I said before, but sometimes mayonnaise. You get it? Okay. So his name is Mayo, my racehorse, and sometimes mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Nay es relinchar. Sometimes mayonnaise. All right, I've got another one. Where did the Helsinki Marathon end? Where did the Helsinki Marathon end? At the finish line. La meta, the finish line. Pero si añadimos otra N, finish es finlandés. So I told the Finnish guy to finish his dinner. All right, well, you're lucky. I have finished my jokes. It's time for famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays. Number one, this guy was born in 1967. He is an American film composer. Well, he's a composer in general, but he's done films, TV, video games. He won an Emmy Award for Lost. He also won an Academy Award for Up. You mean today's Name That Movie? Yeah, this is the guy who composed the music, and he has worked with everybody. He's one of the greatest composers alive, and it's not Hans Zimmer. All right, and it's not John Williams. Okay, well, they didn't do Up. So if you know who the composer of Up is, then you'll know it. Number two, this guy was the original lead singer of Van Halen. Not Sammy Hagar, the original one, the one who sings, might as well jump, jump, go ahead and jump. That's right. They called him Diamond y su nombre. All right, and last but not least, this is an American race car driver and actor. His father was one of the most famous race car drivers in the world. And, well, he didn't want his son to get involved in that world, so he tried to get him into art. So he bought him an art set, and he looked at his dad and said, I don't want to do art. I love art, but I want to race like you. All right. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Giacchino. Number two, David Lee Roth. And number three, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Yeah, that name Earnhardt in my country is synonymous with racing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. And that's going to bring us to our Say What soundbite. This is Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking about when his dad tried to convince him not to get into the same business as him. And he said, when they came in the room with that box, sus padres, his parents, it was a big, long, rectangular box filled with all these really great tools. High, de alta gama, expensive drawing utensils and pens and things like that. It was really well thought out. Sí que lo pensaron muy bien, right? If something is well thought out, no es al azar. Lo has pensado bien. And you can hear he's got a little bit of a southern accent. I was wondering if you could pick up on that. But this is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here he is in today's Say What soundbite.
When they came in the room with that box, it was a big, long, rectangular box of all these really great tools and high, expensive drawing utensils and pens and things like that. It was really well thought out.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
Excellent job. Excellent job. And we've got to go. We have reached the finish line. La línea finlandesa. Con una N. We have reached the finish line. And guys, I hope you are ready to rock, because I was listening to this show as I was listening to this song right before the show. And I think that's why my voice is a little bit raspy, because I was singing it at the top of my lungs. It is Van Halen with David Lee Roth, and the song is called Ain't Talking About Love. My love is rotten to the core. Hey, we saw that word. Hasta la médula es pudrida. Ain't talking about love. If you've never heard it, you are in for a treat. Thank you so much, everybody, and let's rock and roll. We're going out with a bang. Wow. Come on. Come on. You ain't talking about love. My love is rotten to the core. Let's go. I heard the news, baby, all about your disease.
Yeah, you may have all you want, baby. Well, something